Hi there, wig lover. This is Heather from CysterWigs.com coming at you with another review. This time it's another Noriko wig. This one's called Jolie. And the color on Jolie is one of my favorite light browns. This is Mochaccino R. They have some really gorgeous light brown shades in the Noriko / Renee Paris / Amour color palette. I really like Maple Sugar. I think that's a really pretty light brown. It's a little bit more red than this. But Mochaccino R has that light golden brown base, and you can see this highlight here, which is a very pretty sandy blonde color on top. It's not super duper highlighted, but the highlights are noticeable, and they're very pretty looking. I think this is a gorgeous wig, and because it's in one of my favorite colors, it's just a win-win for me. So let me get into it, the pros and the cons. I'm gonna start with the con, because I always like to, you know, get the pain over with, like taking off a bandage or jumping into a swimming pool. I'm not a dip your toe in kind of person. I'm a jump in and get used to the temperature kind of person. So hopefully you don't mind. The only con I can think of at all with Jolie is that it's heavy for how much hair you're getting. But that's on par with most of the Noriko wigs. You know, most of the time I wear Jon Renau wigs in my daily life, even though I do have, you know, aesthetic wigs and Noriko wigs. I basically, it's one of the perks of owning a store. I have lots of wigs in my personal collection. And so because of that, you know, I'm willing to accept a good looking wig if it's a little heavy. So this is kind of a heavy wig given how short it is. It's 3.2 ounces. A comparable wig from Jon Renau would be, you know, maybe an ounce lighter. They're lighter in general. You know, like Emma from Estetica is a similar cut to this, but it is lighter in weight. So if you're really conscientious about the weight of a wig, I would in general advise you to stay away from the Noriko line entirely, because most of their wigs, with the exception of maybe a handful, like Jessie's pretty light, but she's also very short. Most of their mid-length wigs are going to be a little heavier than counterparts from other brands. With that bad news out of the way, I think that this is a beautiful wig. It's beautiful right out of the box. I haven't done anything except run a comb through it. You know, just one of these numbers. And I haven't had to do anything else to it. It's very sleek, very polished, very professional. It's a very beautiful wig. Like, I think that this is a gorgeous bob. It's very sleek, and the fibers feel very satiny. So there's a lot of very good things going on here. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn to the side so you can see the shape of Jolie. Very graduated, so the front is substantially longer. The front is pretty darn long, actually. It doesn't really say how long they are, so I'm gonna go ahead and measure. I would venture to guess it's about 12 inches, but let's see from the top down. It's 11. I was close. So it's 11 inches in the front, and then it graduates all the way to the back. The nape of this wig is 4 inches long, so it hits right around the collar. So very pretty shape. It's not too round either, because I know that bobs that are too round can sometimes not look the best on certain face shapes. I'm going to go ahead and close my laptop so it doesn't keep throwing that blue hint onto the hair. But very pretty shape to this one. I think this is very flattering and very polished looking. Here is the back. Again, very super straight, very sleek, very pretty. The back does stretch a little bit, but not a ton. In general, the hair moves beautifully. This Noriko hair feels very nice. It's a little shiny, but most synthetics will have a little bit of shine that you have to deal with. There's a lot of intense light coming from above. But, you know, I'm going to go on a little tangent here, but I've wrestled with a lot of different lighting schemes in my pursuit of trying to get these images, especially the colors, to look as true to life as possible. It is extremely difficult to get the colors on camera to look like they do in real life. And I found that, you know, aside from the natural light coming in through the window, which, you know, isn't always there, the next best thing is to try to do, you know, normal indoor lighting that you would naturally encounter, because that way you can see what it looks like in, you know, 9/10 of any environment that you're going to be when you're inside. But the result of that is that the lighting is very intense and that it will show, you know, little shiny spots like this. It has more to do with the lighting though than it does the actual wig itself. You know, the alternative is to go the same route that like wigs.com and Vogue Wigs went, which is to have like a professional lighting rig. But the problem with the professional lighting rig, because believe me, I bought one and I've tried it, the professional lighting rig blanches the colors and it tends to mute them a little bit. Rather than blanch out the colors, I figured that the better trade-off, and I'm sure you'll probably agree with me if you're really keyed in on the colors, the better trade-off is to have little shiny spots that don't necessarily look as professional but show the color as true to life as possible, than to have a professional lighting rig that kind of blanches them out and makes them look less intense or more neutral than they actually are. Because, you know, I would hate for you to buy something like this and not realize, for instance, that it has a gold base to it, because clearly that's got a little bit of gold going on there. So back to the story. I'm gonna go ahead and take this off so you can take a look at the cap construction. Now I find this wig to be pretty comfortable. A lot of Noriko wigs fit a little small on me and they can be really difficult to put on. I actually found this one to be pretty comfortable right off the bat, which is very good. Has a monofilament top, full mono top, with very good knotting. It also has this little bump of permatease right at the crown, but unlike Jessie and a couple other Noriko wigs, that permatease is very muted. There's not a whole lot of it. It just kind of gives it a nice shape. And the back, like I said, very, very stretchy. And the perimeter, not particularly stretchy. That's because of the front and the back having that material back here that doesn't stretch. There's a little sliver of felt back here at the nape, and a little bit of polyurethane up at the front, and the ear tabs are nothing special. They just have a hint of felt around the perimeter. Likewise, there's a little bit of felt around that mono top. So here is the mono top up close. I think that's really cool looking. And then, like I said, this permatease is so minor that you really have to go hunting for it to see it. Now this color does have a root, but in my estimation, the root merely looks like the base shade. So it looks like the highlighting starts a couple of centimeters away from the base. And if you invert the cap, it kind of feeds into that suspicion because you don't see any of the highlight shade showing through the wefts, which means that it's applied after the fact. So now I'm going to go ahead and put this wig back on. And once you get it all lined up, you can comb it out, or because I've already combed this out once, I'm just going to use my fingers. The less you brush a wig, especially one of these straight wigs, the better off you're going to be, because the less static damage you're going to do to the hair. So the more you can get away with just kind of petting it down into place, the happier you're going to be overall, because your wig will last longer. Beautiful wig. This is the Jolie wig by Noriko in the color Mochaccino R, which is one of my favorite light browns. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a good night. Bye-bye.